Welcome to my small documentary of the Arctic Trail in Greenland from Kangerlussuaq to Sisimiut. On the small documentary, I'm going to talk about the trail and how my days went, where we were heading, and to what you should be careful to when hiking over there. In general, there isn't any much danger, but you need to be careful with what you are bringing and your sheer will for walking. For this adventure, I was sharing it with 4 other people. Tobias, our guide, and the one that had proposed to all of us to make this hike. He is an actual guide, and I will share his website with you if you are interested in it. We had Jessie, the cousin of Tobias, which acted as a nurse. Very practical. We had Sylvan, which had fishing gear and a lot of different food for experience, is able to do a lot of different delicious meals, even though it's a hike and you're supposed to be light. And we were able to fish because of him. And there was Herbert. Herbert just likes hiking. And me. And I was bringing a solar panel to the hike, which was highly practical for charging everyone's gear. And also I had a speaker if we needed some music, if you know what I mean.
Time to go to Greenland! Are you guys ready? Yes, ready?
Ready!
This was to approach to Kangerlussuaq with the plane. I have to say at this moment I was feeling already very excited. Like we were building up for 9 months. 9 months where I just buy the tickets, but it was excitement of all the preparation we had done until now, and on top of that, with that awesome Greenland airplane, we could see the landing and the actual surroundings instead of just being stuck in the middle of a few people. You can see that the runway is actually not flat. It's because of the cold in Greenland. It's that cold. And one good thing to know is that there is only 90 kilometers of road in the whole of Greenland.
Let's go! Absolutely beautiful. What are your first impression, Mr. Tobias?
First impression, beautiful weather.
Beautiful.
That's what I was hoping for.
And speaking about food, you should be fine because there is a market, but you need to be careful because you should get your own food where you live first and then come over there to pick up the gas. And most of the time they only have gas in the airport. The other markets has it, but we didn't find it at the time. They were all out of stock, so you need to be careful about that. And also, when going to the camp, just follow the airstrip towards the west. Just following the same road, you'll eventually end on it. It's relatively short, and also the guy at this camp is very nice. In general, the people over there are very nice. You can see on the screenshot I took, actually there's a bar, it's called Sisimiut or something like that, and they sell hot dogs. It's not the best hot dogs, but sometimes we're hungry, we're just going and we're like, okay, before the hike, let's just quickly grab the last hot dog before we go. There's also the Grone bar, which is the only restaurant that there is in town, and there used to be another one, but that's the only one right now. There's done a lot of activity, and there's also a post office. There's also the police station, but it's very small. You shouldn't expect something very big from Kangerlussuaq.
Das ist so ähnlich wie in Peru, die Alpaka-Sachen.
Ja, das genau.
That must be very warm.
That must be too warm.
Emma would love it.
And now the day of truth
Subito.
comes tonight.
We
do have a tent.
We do have a tent. We're not gonna sleep
And it's
outside.
only 1 day old.
Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic? C'est fantastique.
C'est fantastique, exactement.
Das ist das, was ich mir überlege.
Vielleicht können wir den fragen, den wir heute haben, der uns wieder hinführt.
Ja.
Oder?
Pinkish, and then it turns into green. Does that make sense? Allerdings, der Bastion hat ein bisschen eine Schwäche, ist eine Farbschwäche.
Oh ja.
Pretty.
Ja. Farbe, ja.
Ja.
C'est pour ma femme.
So, ne?
Wenn es rausgenommen und draussen auf.
And it's not too chilly.
Nee, ich bin jetzt auch da
Quite nice.
Naja, da geht schon.
Nein, ich meine, ich habe es dann meinen Kunden gesagt.
Obviously, I don't understand anything. So we walked for the fishing permit
Wanderheim.
all the way over here.
Schau mal, hoffen wir.
And just to tell us that it was where we came from. And we walked for maybe 15 minutes. So it's great. Now I'm just looking at applications and stuff to see.
Shall I be ready for an interview?
Why
Any
not?
questions?
Why not?
So what's happening?
I have no clue.
So what do you need to know?
Well,
Well, this is the lovely place called Kangerlussuaq.
when is the next lunch?
The next lunch is when you send your bum bum around the court or like around the tarmac, and then go to the East boutique and get
Yes.
some more hot dog.
Yeah.
Because it seems that hot dog is not just the favorite
best- the
food,
best food.
it's not also the only food, but it's also the food of Greenland. Makes sense, right?
The food of Greenland? I'm not sure about that though.
And then after having picked up Jesse at the airport and having a hot dog, we went on a guided tour towards the glacier and also explained a lot of history of Kangerlussuaq.
Names, and the names of Kangerlussuaq are all American, and yes, just because it's the American who founded Kangerlussuaq and actually started to build here. Before the Americans came, there was nobody here. So they came here in 1941, and yeah, they just started to build. And back then they started all the way down in the harbor, which is around 20 kilometers down from here. And yeah, it was just an harbor, and then they were starting to build the landing strip, and that was actually when they moved in here, to here, and they moved the buildings from the harbor, from Kellyville, and just transported them to Oldcamp, which is the Oldcamp today. And those buildings at Oldcamp is now some of the oldest buildings of all Kangerlussuaq, because those were the early buildings.
Yeah, they're like we saw them in Iceland. They also built an American base over there. They have like the same structure, like the pre-made
blocks.
Yeah,
just,
exactly. The blocks that could just throw together.
Oh yeah, the Americans were all around the Arctic during the World War.
Cold War.
Both during Second World War and during the Cold War. They were all around here. So right down here you can see the Watson River. It's actually Watson River. It's actually two meltwater rivers which just meets right down there. There's the one river from the Desert Valley in there, and there's the other river from the Sandscape Valley. And we're actually going to follow the other river from the Sandscape Valley all the way into Point 660, because it's just going all the way into Point 660 and going through Russell as well. And yeah, we're basically just going to follow that river almost all the way. but it's going to split up between the road over there at Sugarloaf. You can see that mountain just right in front of us. The largest one, that one is named Sugarloaf, and that is actually what the Americans originally built this road to, because they used to use the mountain as a radio station.
Oh, radio station.
Yeah, it's already
up there.
Yeah, it's already high, and if you kind of squeeze your eyes, you can kind of see 3 antennas.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah.
Yeah, and that's the old American radio station up there, and they built a road all the way out there. And on the way, there's actually a golf course. Funny enough, right down there is actually one of the northest golf courses there is.
Are you kidding me?
What? A golf course here?
Yeah, it's a full 18-hole golf course, and it was just abandoned back when the Americans left.
Two people play? Crazy.
No, it's a full 18-hole. But back then, when the Americans were here, like,
Oh yeah, we can see the poles
yeah,
there.
you can see some flags all around yellow.
Some people playing already now?
No,
no one.
None of the locals are actually playing much golf or any golf at all, and that's why it all just looks so abandoned, and it doesn't really look like somebody has been down there and using it.
Did it used to be actually green grass when they were playing golf?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
But they had small pieces of green grass around the flags.
No way.
And that's just it. There's actually still some places where you can see some of the green places around the flags.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The funny thing is that you can see trees here, and normally there's no trees at all in all Greenland.
Oh, yes,
and it's because these trees are actually planted, and they were planted as an experiment way back in the end of the 60s. And because they were planted as an experiment, there's these numbers on them. I don't know if you can see those in the middle of the tree.
Oh, yes,
yeah, there's these tags on them.
Nice. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of these trees have some of these tags. That one should have one as well. And it's only just like each single tree has their own identification, and you can see that one right there has one.
Surprised that they survived for this long.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
But in winter there are so many tourists as well.
In winter there's not many tourists actually.
No, but there are coming some tourists.
Not much. There's actually not anything to do during the winter almost.
It's probably just too cold.
Yeah, it's really cold. Like, you have to think about here in Kangerlussuaq during January and February, it's minus 50 Celsius degrees.
Minus
50?
Yeah, and that's just you cannot even turn on the car at minus
Wait,
50.
minus 50 Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Celsius.
Celsius, okay.
It's crazy cold.
That is intense. You have no idea what that looks like.
And right here is one of the places, and we have a prohibited area right here because of that. And you can see all of these white poles are all of these yellow dots on this map, and you're not allowed to cross them, and you're only allowed to be on the road here. And that's because the Americans used to practice with the mortars here. I don't know if you know.
Mortars, yeah.
Yeah, there's yeah, and there's quite a lot of these mortar grenades which hasn't exploded all around here, so it's just a minefield.
Good here.
Oh,
Yeah. Boom.
So
So we could.
I cut the video afterwards, but the guy was basically saying also that there was a deer this year. We had done it in 2023. A deer exploded on one of the shells of the mortars. Later on, he talks about the car company Nosta, Audi, and Volkswagen actually wanted to build a road all the way to the ash sheet, which they did. But knowing how remote Greenland is, it was way too hard, and the ice sheet is always constantly moving because it's melting. So they wanted to test the cars there, but in the end it just didn't work because it was just too expensive. Then later on we stopped by a few of these small ponds, and actually it's poisonous. Turns out the Americans poured some jerry can fuel in there for some reason because they didn't like the mosquitoes. so to make them stop from coming, but completely obliterated the ecosystem of a few ponds, so you must not drink those at all. The guide tells us to not touch the water and it's poisonous. And what does Sylvain do?
Tomatoes and I think don't touch it, don't touch it.
The water.
No, it's poisonous.
It's poisonous.
What?
Giftig.
Oh, this.
Ja,
if you swim in it, you can die.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ja, wie war's, wenn der Einschritt so
I just told about these water tomatoes.
not paying
Ah.
attention.
Tomato plants.
Yeah, tomato plants.
Yeah,
They are so poison.
yeah, and they're right down there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a round down there, but yeah,
a round dot thingy right
yeah,
there, right?
yeah, and that's one of the tomatoes, and they're growing inside of this lake. But this year we have just had so extremely much water. Normally the water of this lake is reaching just right there to this grass.
Yes.
And there's normally rocks right here, and
Oh.
that's normally where you can see the tide. But because of global warming, we get extreme amounts of water, and
No fish is inside.
no fish is inside. And
Oh.
nothing can live inside of this.
Okay, okay.
It's,
Is that the reason that
It's always funny to see that there's always someone worrying about the recording, and then they come behind you asking.
and one of the reasons that some of these
you put this videos on the
so much,
WhatsApp?
I can put it on WhatsApp if you want to.
Yeah.
So much.
Eventually we go back in the car and we end up on the ox, and this happens.
There's an ox.
He's like, no, not again. The door is.
Crazy.
He's like, what are they doing? Why are they gonna kill such a weird guy?
Geil, wie der da hochgefahren ist, oder? Oh,
He's looking at us.
amazing.
Glad we're in a car.
Oh, he's going.
Ja, genau. Implementiert es.
Oh, the poor guy was stressing him out.
We're pressing him.
Yeah.
It's a male.
It's a male.
It's a male.
Aren't they usually in groups? Oh, the bus is here. The bus is here.
They're like wondering what we're doing.
This is off-road, huh? Nice.
Yeah, and they're not stopping by, so
So we get to.
yeah, so we can just jump out. So the quite interesting thing is that this plane crash was all the way from 1968 and has been out here in the nature simply just because the air up here in Greenland is so dry that the metal is rusting so much slower.
Slower.
Yeah, so this metal from 1968, which has been laying here since 1968, is still usable.
The crash.
Oh yeah, no, but the guy jumped out of the house all
That must have been a big explosion.
no fuel left. No explosion.
Ah, no explosion. Okay. See the cables there. I bet some people has been taking pieces of it for souvenir. Oh yeah, that's really crushed.
Was?
I thought you were talking about the crash. But yes, it is gorgeous.
So what happened with these planes is that they were sent from somewhere to land into Kangerlussuaq, and the weather was so bad they couldn't actually find the landing spot, and 3 of them ended up just crashing. And because of the humidity there, it's so dry that actually nothing has really rusted. And if you're wondering how the plane looked like before, this is how it looked like, and it's a T-33.
The old one, huh?
Oh yeah. But yeah, now that
The American path, unknown.
yeah, it's just being destroyed by nature now. Well, it's
Nature's coming back.
yeah. No, but people are still driving on it and playing on it, so that's why it's still a little bit visible. But
For more information, this old road was actually made by the Americans that used to get actually stuck in the mud around the ponds, and obviously they had to get rescued. But as I said, now people are just using them as paths to have fun with cars.
That's really
It's good.
wow.
so this lake is called the Long Lake.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
And it's because it is so long, and you can see albatrosses down here, so we will not stop here and
Yep.
just pass them.
Like it.
So
The return way.
Yeah.
yeah, this lake is all meltwater, and the locals use it quite a lot because you have to get at least 5 kilometers away from the road before it's legal to start hunting. So a lot of locals take the rubber boat, those inflatable boats, and just sail out here 5 kilometers out, and then you can actually just start to shoot from the water. if
You
you'd
can
like.
see the boat over there.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Oh, well, the reindeer. Over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, reindeer.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be dinner.
That's a small one, that one.
It's this wild one.
There's only wild reindeers here.
Only wild, yeah.
Yeah.
No Sami people.
So that's the
no way.
beautiful thing about Greenland. We don't farm animals.
Yeah.
So, all the animals of Greenland is actually having the best life
Okay.
in the world. So nothing about living the whole life in a square meter and standing on their own poo and giving birth on their own poo and all that. They're living out in nature and are free. Only suffers that 1 second they get shot, and that's it. So there's about 36,000 more muskoxes than there are people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a courageous woman there.
Oh yeah. So once a year there's a marathon being held on this road. All the way from point 660, where you run 4 kilometers there, and then you run the rest on this road. So one quite interesting thing is that this glacier right in front of us, this is the Russell Glacier, and we can actually see how far it has been out by this moraine. And it's because the glacier has been pushing all of this moraine. It's only the glacier that has been touching this moraine. None of these entrepreneur machines or anything has been touching that. It's only the glacier. And here I have a satellite picture from 10 years ago about this glacier, and we are actually driving right here next to the glacier on this road. So these 90 degrees of moraine is those 90 degrees of moraine right there. And you can see from 10 years ago and from 2 years ago, a lot of ice has gone missing.
Yeah.
And now there's a lake right in there behind there, and it has just formed, and you can see there's one little opening in this one lake, and every single year or every 4 to 5 years there's a big chunk of ice falling down and then blocking this entrance of the lake. The muskox wool, and that's the muskox wool is 8 times warmer than any normal wool.
Oh wow.
And it's also finer than cashmere wool. So it's world's finest kind of wool, because it's 8 times warmer than normal wool and softer than cashmere. So I have some. Yeah, we get to see more and more rocks as we get here, and that's also the way that the permafrost has been acting. Because if you think about it, all the southern sides of the mountains are all rocky, and there's there's gravel on them, and that's just because the sun has been facing those sides of the mountains all year round, and that has just melted the permafrost which was underneath there. So now the northern sides of the mountains are starting to change, and the permafrost here is starting to melt up, and once the permafrost is melted up, it's just like concrete which loses its solidity and just falls and collapses. And that's what you can see over there at that mountain. There's been some landslides and that's the permafrost melting. And yeah, permafrost is a real
safari. Beautiful.
They blend so well into Kan du es? Ja, so sieht es aber schlecht.
I'll just try sneak up on it and take a good picture.
Yeah, I don't know if you can actually sneak up on it.
No, it will probably run.
He already knows you're there.
Yeah, it'll run.
You can actually see in the background what he was talking about, the permafrost. The grass is not holding onto the earth that is under because the permafrost melted. And this was finally us actually starting to walk towards the glacier after ending up on the paths of the previous glacier that was there. You're gonna see my excited face right there, just happy to be there. I have to say it was very cold. We were all dressed very lightly. And for me, I didn't have a lot of things on me. I was just trying to keep myself as light as possible for the hike. But this is just absolutely wonderful.
So, just to give in the context here, we're close to the ice sheet, the ice shield, right there. And actually, it's probably about 8 Celsius right now. It's very cold.
So right here we will start to see the first ice, and the funny thing is that if you take a big chunk, just drop it right on top of it. Okay.
Oh.
You can get to break it and see some very clear ice, but yeah, this isn't this. This isn't leaking out.
I don't trust that plank. Walking on thousand years old ice. More than 1,000 probably. I would probably not go for a swim in this one, that's for sure.
It's way too cold, I think.
Yeah. Still recording. I was recording you just with the water. It's taking.
Stop! Warte mal! Komm noch ein bisschen! Was machst du jetzt? Ich auch! Das Wasser! Ich auch! Warte mal! Ist das saubere Wasser?
mit 1000 Jahre alten Bakterium drin, wo wir nicht.
Before the hike starts, I want to talk about what the Arctic Circle Trail is about. It consists of 160 kilometers of hiking, from Kangerlussuaq to Sisimiut. In between you have huts, not all the time, but it is very practical if you don't want to stay outside for a night with the tent, because, you know, not everyone wants to be in a tent all the time. They are not all clean, speaking about the cabins, and some are very basic, to one in particularly great called the Glamorous Cabin. That's the only cabin I stayed in. I have footage throughout the hike, and I will be able to give you some more clues to what you want to bring, to what you need to bring, and other. Also, you need to think about the food, because the food over there you will not be able to buy any except at a particular point, and that's not something that you want to rely on. And we'll see when we get to the Valley of Shrek. It's just a joke. It has a name. You have no restaurants, you have nothing on the way. You need to bring your food. It is very important to have enough sufficient food for yourself throughout the hike. Speaking about how it looks on the map, you do not want to take the ATV trail, which is the trail that leaves straight after Kangerlussuaq. You will see it very soon, and it will be a striking difference. When you are arriving to Kangerlussuaq, you do not want to take the trail heading straight to the west, a bit going south following the fjord, because apparently this one was completely flooded, and we met other people that had actually gone down south, and it was a very bad trip for them. Apparently this year was very wet, and it is not getting any improvement with the ice sheet melting and also the permafrost melting. The south trail, for information, is the yellow trail.
This is what reflecting the rays of the sun, and therefore it makes it appear a little bit more white. And that's also why all of that ice is appearing so much white, because it's reflecting the sun's rays so much, and it just looks white. But once you touch it, it's ice, and if you take a piece off it, it's also ice. It's just filled with alcohol.
Nice, huh?
And this is the permafrost right there.
It's an old one, huh?
Yeah, you can actually count how old it is, and its points of the ambers.
Wow.
Oh, tot dan? Je weet je zoveel reindeer gezien.
Ja.
Du Aga?
Ik niet.
Ich habe gerade im Norden echt Nordkap. Da wimmelt sie. Die laufen ins Auto rein, wenn sie können.
I'm so happy that bus stopped.
You still take
Was
pictures?
siehst du, das Fell ist anders gestrichen.
I want to get a little bit closer still.
Die anderen sind zum
And this concludes the end of the day of arrival to Kangerlussuaq, and then the first day to going on the trail. Also, if you think about bringing a flashlight, just do not bring one. It's not worth it. This is how it looked like at midnight from my camera. It's perfectly seeable in August. Save your space.
First awakening. The first day.
Beautiful sun coming out. You probably said that already. The tent is dry, which is
It's great.
Yeah, no. There was no reason why it should be.
And we slept warm.
We did sleep tight. Very, very nice and warm.
Morning.
Morning. How was your first sleep?
Oh, it was okay.
It was okay?
It was okay.
Oh, it was okay. Okay, great.
Didn't sleep very well, but it was okay.
Oh, but did you sleep well?
I did sleep well.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It wasn't like I was warm, but I definitely wasn't sweating.
Okay.
So
It was perfect.
yeah, it was alright. I want to.
Okay,
So I'm not concerned.
that's great. That's great. That's great. So, we are soon about to go. We had a nice breakfast, we had a nice sleep, as told in the previous video. And we're just gonna have a drop for like 13 kilometers. And we're just ready for a go, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. We're waiting for Daniel, not our guy, but our driver. Supposed to be here 16 minutes ago. Yesterday he was actually quite on time. Today I truly hope he's not like, oh, I had this other gig with someone else, so like, whoops.
And then we have to walk 13 kilometers.
Yes, that's what's gonna happen. What else?
We need to be careful about what water we're gonna drink
Yes.
on the first trail.
I was just able to talk to police. That's what you're supposed to do if you're out there for too long. Yeah, so they know that we're out there and we're planning on doing, and how to get in touch with the Swiss office that is tracking us
Yes.
all day long. And yeah, we have a few safety procedures going on. We have tons of like, which is good, navigation devices. So if one fails, we have at least 4 others, or 5 or 6. I don't entirely know like how many you guys have, but I have 3. What else? Yeah, the water, that might be an issue. So Jess is just fetching a few more bottles. Besides that, we good. And he just like moves the camera away.
It's just
No, this is not important.
yeah, it is.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
All the spirits are high.
we know what we're doing, right?
No.
We know what we're doing, right?
For the first part of the hike, we actually asked our guide to bring us to Kellyville, at least the observation, the weather observation building, because it's quite horrendous and it's very dry. There's nothing. It's not really that pretty. So that's it.
So just so you know, guys, that would have been our route for today.
Yeah, that would have been just concrete.
People that just have been driving by.
Yeah, it's quite comfy right now.
I mean, we didn't really see anyone on the trail right now, no?
Ja, well invested. Jesse ist begeistert.
Das war schon sehr
Hart.
blöd, gell?
Ja, sehr hart.
And therefore big ships cannot come in here.
Yeah.
So whenever we need anything shipped, we have these pontons there in the water. But these are the old American ones from the old American times, and these were the ones which they arrived in. And also one funny thing is that people who lives here are writing their names on that mountain whenever.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a lot.
So where's yours?
I'm not moving away yet, so I
Oh, you
haven't-
have to move to get the...
Yeah,
now
whenever
got it.
people are moving, they just go up there and
Oh, that's fantastic.
Not signed.
yeah, I will write my name up there someday.
And right there was the beginning of the hike. We soon ran into mosquitoes.
This is the start of our trail. Being attacked by mosquitoes.
And for me, this was the moment where I felt, oh, now there's no stopping.
Oh, in the
And slowly we could see that the ATV trail was more and more damaged and less maintained. The beginning of the trail also ended up on some hunting cabins and some tents. And eventually we ended up on the turning path of the ATV trail, and our crew here has a few inspirational words for you.
Das Wetter, das wir bereicht haben, ich gehe runter. So nice! Fantastic, huh? Fantastic weather. Let's go! Trail starts. That was the highway.
Any inspirational words?
Don't stop.
And so this day our goal was to do 15 kilometers, as you can see from the top right to the bottom left where we stayed in between two lakes. But as we started walking the first trail, reality soon set in. Not only there were lots of mosquitoes, but the terrain was so wet. You can hear us splashing around in the water and mud. It's either grass or moss, and we had to be observers of what indication the terrain could tell us if it was dry, wet, or full of water hiding underneath. Paths disappeared into rivers, and sometimes paths became ponds. It was very hard to move around, and my feet quickly became damp, even though we had just started the hike.
It's like bum bum water.
It's also scary to see the amount of bones that you can find laying around, carcasses, and just the fact that the ancestors over there had to use the animals as tools, and you can still see corpses left and right laying on the ground. Going through some water, standing right before Jessie, I see that she is struggling and she nearly fell in the water, and I managed to catch her. And then we had a nice lunch on that rock. Okay. Then after a good lunch and a good nap, we start walking again.
So we're gonna go right because there's a lot of water still on the path.
And at some point we have a little surprise on the path. He was circling around us, and we were just hoping they was not gonna charge us at this point. That day for me felt rough. It was such a surprise, the elements of the terrain, and I hadn't actually drank enough that day. That the next day I woke up with a headache, but we managed to fix that with a few pills.
This is our first camping spot. We just arrived and relaxed for a bit. Felt already a lot better. And we're right next to a lake. So normally actually over there we decided to stop today because there was water in between. There's not supposed to be water in between. There's way too much water this year apparently. And yeah, there's more of the lake on the other side over there.
And so we decided to stop for the day at this lake because the path was actually flooded again, and it would have been a bit more energy to pass, and we just felt like sleeping at this spot, which by the way was pretty nice. It was a bit windy, but it was a good point to rest and continue the trail on the next day.
Yeah, so far so good. Yes, I'm half naked. Yes, it's fine. It feels great to just have a moment of fresh air. It's probably gonna get colder. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna have to go and fill up my water. Don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go in the water, but I definitely need to fill up my water.
traverse the water. And Jessie, I wouldn't be laughing because you're the smaller one.
I know. Swimming is rough. It's bloody deep. Oh,
I
no.
just said that Mats and I all will do it together as a team, and then you guys can follow. But I don't want to have like I'm not going to take any risk on someone falling into the water.
Yeah, after these two islands, careful, it's the deepest part. Yes. You're gonna have to step down, but very gently because there's plenty of rocks. Yes. Be careful, huh? There's a step down. Yeah. All good?
Good, very good. Nothing got wet. Nothing got wet.
Awesome.
We saw a time game.
Huh?
Which we should have gone on the other side. Huh?
Can we go down here?
Right.
The path became heavier.
Either we go right.
There seems to be a bit of ground over there.
Are you kidding me?
What? Oh, really?
Hunters, them darn suckers. That's it for
Is
sure.
that for bullets?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it looks like it. This day we had started to cross the river and then walked until the cabin called Katifik. We had lunch over there and it's right next to the lake Kangerlussuaq. We'll be going along that lake for 2 days if you don't have any canoes. So there is a canoe center cabin later on, but there is this one rule where you're supposed to leave the canoe at the canoe center. So if you're at one end of the lake and you discover a canoe, you take the canoe until you get to the canoe center and then you continue your path. But that was not respected and there was absolutely no canoe of where we were, and all of them were at the other end of the lake, which was very completely unpractical and not nice at all. Some other people that we met were lucky where someone actually brought one all along the way, but we'll see again this a bit later. And again, this path for this day is gonna be just very swampy. The whole way is gonna be swampy. We just started calling it Shrek. On the second day, you're actually gonna meet boulders at some point, and it will be not too hard to just go over it. It's not like a tremendous work to do. documenting. Small break zone. And we walked all the way. I had it before. It's there. We finally arrived at our camping spot, which was nicely laid out. The ground was a bit hilly, but it was still relatively flat. We did some fishing, we unfortunately didn't catch anything, and we got to see some more reindeers at a distance. We had done about 20 kilometers that day, and it was a good hike. I really liked it compared to the first day. It felt more fresh for me, and when I feel cold, I feel more performant to walk faster. He's looking at us. There's two of them. There's two of them. There's one in front of the one that's moving. Day 3 arrived, and the goal today was to go to the outlet of the end of the lake and to camp over there. We had to go to the canoe center to have lunch, and the terrain at first was extremely wet, and we even had to bunny hop from island to island because it was so damp. Well, he's definitely not afraid of us.
Static. But all the water.
So we just stepped on the brake, and came out of a terrible spot over there that was just completely wet. Well, there's a swamp right there because you can see it's way more green. I'm gonna go around that. Does not look good. Canoe spotted.
Oh, I did it! Now I have the moment that I don't think they care about water.
Yeah. There was a duck.
Very stressy. Okay.
It's looking very fine. There's actually an actual path here. Ah, it's so nice here.
Arriving at the canoe center, we had lunch, and you can see the inside is actually pretty nice. It's a bit messy since everyone is using it, but there's also a solar panel on the top, and you can always charge your phone or something else if you're in need. I was personally researching if there was a canoe around, and I found one, but I found a hole, and I really wanted to go on it to finish the trail, but I wasn't crazy enough. And Sylvan, this guy, I'm just gonna call him Matt Sylvan from now on, decided to go on the canoe and finish the end of the trail with the canoe. But it seriously looked like it was someone pissing inside the canoe when you were sitting in it. So I really didn't want to have any accident on that. And I really think that the next part of this trail is so beautiful. I just loved the mix between the rocks and the water and the grass. I just found it wonderful.
But I'll just take it from over there. Like I'm just not gonna. You have to do a wall jump over there. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I dislodged it a bit. Where you have your cane there. Be careful to that piece. Give me the one I have. I'll change it.
Today I was a bit less caring of my feet and
Just remember that if your feet is too wet, you can get trench foot, and trench foot is not fun. So the next days I was a lot more careful.
Nimm doch gerade mal ein richtiger Deep Finger. Ah, nein.
And so we set out on day 4 after camping at the exit of the lake. And we have the plan for that day to go all the way to the cabin, Ikaatuk. So for that day we decided that we would add some plastic socks to protect us from getting wet into our feet, but eventually failed, and you'll see that day was extremely wet at first and then eventually was less of a wet zone. It was also that day for me, I felt it was more difficult than usual because it was a lot hotter, and my energy spike was a bit going down. And it's normal because it was already 4 days of hiking at that point.
You have the choice between water and water. Don't fall. Time to go to the swimming pool. Swimming pool. Ah.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, that's deep. Ooh! Refreshing! What? Obviously. Oh, there's a lake here. We can finally see the hut where we can sleep. Let's run to it.
And so at the end of that day, having reached Ikatuk, we installed the tents and I went for a swim to clean myself from all that heat. The water was very cold and you can probably hear me make small noises of pain, and then I had a very nice meal. So day 5 started, we were in the fog, and Sylvain made some pancakes for us. And I'm not putting any songs or anything at the beginning because then later you'll have plenty for when we get into the Valley of Shrek, and I'll explain more why I call it the Valley of Shrek. It's not its real name, but I found that day absolutely terrible. That was my worst day of the whole hike, in my opinion. Tobias, should I still look for the path on the GPS later?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not going to happen in the next 2 hours.
Oh yeah, no, I know that.
Oh, I'm excited for the views.
Yeah. Especially since it's clearing out.
Okay. Yeah.
Are they on the wrong path?
Yes.
They, you mean?
No.
This way, over there.
Okay. Ah, no. Wait.
Oh, that was a big fish.
Ah.
Oh, am I in your photo?
No. It was a mosquito. I'm trying to spot the bridge. Today's goal was to head to Kangerlussuaq. It's hard to say. And here, as you can see, he can clearly not know what's gonna happen to him in the next few hours. I don't know some of you if you know the game Dark Souls. And there is a particular place in Dark Souls where it's called Blightstown, and an absolute terrible place to be in the game. It's the worst place. It's already a hard game, but over there, it's even worse. For me, this is my real life Blightstown life. There were so many mosquitoes. There's water everywhere. It's terrible. Also, the paths are not really there. I mean, you can see the paths, but you don't know which one to take. We also got nearly lost multiple times because we couldn't find the bridge. You don't have to pass by the bridge, but we took a different path, as you saw on the map before. We took the blue path that I put on myself instead of the other path it was saying to us to take. And no, this place was... I hated that place. But eventually on that path of that day, what's nice is that there are locals over there and they sell dried meat, for the hikers or the people that would like some. So that was a huge moral boost for me. There it is. After the Valley of Shrek. Finally. Hooray! With the perfume?
Mosquito repellent. The most important thing up here.
And during this afternoon, we spent time sunbathing, cleaning ourselves, and spending time together.
Want a break? Or
I'd keep going.
keep going?
Yeah, feet are open.
Okay.
On the top.
Okay.
On the top.
On the top. Good.
Tagging along. And then we had a small insect problem where Jessie had one fly exactly in her ear. We managed to get it out eventually, and we needed some water to do that. So Jessie has an insect inside her ear.
Aber es hat ein Körnchen drin, die tut das Körnchen tut
Nein,
Nein? Oh, was ist Aha. Aber das Sommerfall tut es abdichten. Barbara, so machen, so? Nein, nein. Sorry, it's nie fertig gebracht.
You know, I think the best way we could make it go out is to put water in it.
You can feel it inside.
Oh, yeah.
So I cut the recording, poured out some water into her ear, managed to get out the insect with a stick because it wasn't moving anymore. But yeah, that's why it's important to bring a net, because all these things will always try to get into your ears, and nearly happened multiple times to me. So after the hill of Kangerlussuaq and a mosquito in the ear of Jessie, this is the track and it's about 20 kilometers. I feel like this day was the nicest for me. I really enjoyed that day, even though later I would have a butt cramp while walking. And we ended up on ptarmigan. It's a small bird that doesn't fly and stays on the ground and changes color throughout the year. I need to look at it. Yeah. No. There's a bird.
Where is the bird?
Right there.
Greenlandic chewing gum.
By this moment of the trip, it is recommended to stay on the ATV trail even though it's wet. It's easier because otherwise you have to go uphill quite a lot, and we wasted a lot of energy on that day.
Please no. That would be terrible. I nearly got this on audio, by the way. MTV. I'm having more and more of a butt cramp. It's not great.
And after arriving at the cabin in Nujatok, I went for a swim, and I also fished a little bit, and I enjoyed cooking and talking with other people that were in the cabin with us.
Yeah, the West Fjords and the West, like that, yeah. That's where you're supposed to yeah. Oh, well, that's okay. That's where there are no tourists. Yeah.
We're such gentlemen. We let the woman go first.
Over there. Ow! For day 7, you start on a beautiful hike next to a lake. You do have to cross a river, which was hard to actually pass, as you can see at the beginning of the day. The beginning is a bit bumpy and uphill, but then it's a very easy hike going down. Although for me, that day I felt like my strength was slowly leaving me after day 7 of the hike, and it was a bit more painful than the other days, and I could clearly see that I needed to be done soon, otherwise I would be toast. And obviously after a while, the conversation about how bad we smell comes up all the time. So, just to tell the story, because now I have to make a video about it.
You need us to be quiet for a second.
Jesse asked me why I smelled so bad, because I've been taking my showers every night. It's just that I haven't been washing my shirts.
How many days?
Well, since the beginning. And
It's not being true.
and the question earlier, well, the thing was like, no, you occasionally smell like farts, but otherwise you just shrink.
Oh man.
and
Oh, man.
then I mean we got to the conversation.
Ja, ja.
And now she just can't stop laughing. Unless it's not possible, guys, yes, please, it is important to wash your shirts and shorts. Arriving at Neromak, we installed ourselves. I went fishing for a while but didn't catch anything. Sylvan did, and we ate some delicious fish and we rested very well that night. And it was kind of cold though, because we're in between two valleys over there and the sun disappears quite quickly, so be ready to be cold. Day 8 arrives, and first thing first in the morning we need to cross a river where we bathed last night, and we just keep going, and we're so excited to get at the end of the trail.
Still waiting for the muskox to get.
We want a shrubbery! We also end up in the tiny forest where it was very difficult to pass, and yeah, it was just a bush place and the path was just going through there. It was so dense.
Big. Jeez. Freaking jungle. Going up and down all the time.
We had to cross multiple times the same river. During the hike, you don't notice it, but you're slowly going insane, depending on your body performance. The closer we got, some of us were really excited to go back to civilization. The hike on that day is mainly flat, and it is such a relief to see the fjords by the end of the trip. This ends though, there is a major uphill, and then it's a flat hill. It's about 2 kilometers until you get to the cabin. Before the last day of hike, I decided to record a small video of me, and you could see that I was very tired. I had enough of that hike.
I'm slowly getting close to the end of the trip, and I really enjoyed it, except my legs and the rest of my body. Obviously, there's way too many insects around here. It's just insane. But yeah, no, just fantastic views. I don't know if I'll miss this place, probably, but compared to civilization. But Can't wait to have a break from my legs. On the long term.
Beautiful day for another Shrek day. Whoop-a-la. Of course. Freaking swamp again.
Nice. Fantastic. Wow.
Yes, please. Sure. Let me also take people.
The last day was very difficult for me. I was tired and most of it was going up and down the hills and mountains that there were. I had 2 blisters each on both little toes of my feet. I do have to say that it was beautiful though. It was the day with the most suffering, but the best beauty. I was struggling to keep up while Jessie was struggling to keep warm. And then we finally saw the first signs of civilization.
It's there! Yes! It's there! We can see it!
And this is the point in my suffering body where I just went for a beeline because I could finally see the objective, and I was just so excited about that. It was such a great experience, this hike, but by the end I was so exhausted. I was just so glad to see the first buildings coming up. Something to know about Sisimiut. Sisimiut is the second biggest city in the whole of Greenland. It has about 5,500 people living in it. And centuries ago, when they decided to install themselves here, it's because the fauna was very rich, since there's not a lot of choice in terms of plants. We actually went through the sleigh dog town, where people have all their sleigh dogs waiting there for the summer, and yeah, in winter they use them all to also just do that Arctic Circle Trail trip or for other things. And we got a few puppies coming to us.
Not to lick, not to lick. Hej. Hej, nie tugisz.
Så herzig.
So cute.
So we got a really nice welcome party waiting for us in Sisimiut. It was like the hugs for all of the suffering we had received.
I think they're gonna
while
keep
walking.
following us now, though.
We can't take
We just adopted 4 of them. You're the one that said that.
She's like, I don't do anything. She's like,
To stay in Sisimiut, we actually stayed in the Sisimiut Vandeheim, which is basically a youth hostel. It's one of the cheapest places because most of the hotels can be, well, they're not overpriced, but you know, you always try to find the cheapest place possible. And then there's also the museum. That's actually quite nice on the history of how Sisimiut got there. We also visited another place where basically they drop us on boats and we have to come back. The place where they drop us it's basically the old town of Sisimiut, and then they actually moved it because it wasn't getting popular at all. Then there's also the Thai restaurant, which is very nice, and another restaurant you can go to is the Hotel Sisimiut restaurant, which is basically very nice. It's one of the most famous restaurants, and the last night we actually stayed in Hotel Sisimiut. And as if it's not enough, having walked 160 kilometers, we decide to walk more. In the old city, you can't even call it a city, it's just a few houses, called Olsteinberg.
Thank you.
And we took a boat to go over there and walk, as I said previously.
how long is the boat ride?
30 minutes.
Okay.
Not more than 30 minutes.
Hopefully I can tolerate that.
You can.
I
You
forgot
will.
I get seasick.
I forgot to mention.
And went all the way from there on foot back to Sisimiut. This hike, we didn't just go straight to it.
It's a speedboat, huh? Very fast. Nice.
Poor Herbert. It is.
Indiana Jones, Bastian. Really nice, huh?
Yeah.
And then we had to leave to go back on the trail for about 10 kilometers to join back Sisimiut. And you have to leave with that ladder to go out there, and the terrain is pretty much like anywhere we've been in Greenland before. It's wet, rocky, a bit of grass, a lot of moss,
I love how the horizon.
lots of water.
Is there?
And on this, oh yes, there is the cemetery. That's the cemetery over there. I haven't filmed much afterwards because I mean you've pretty much seen all the terrain. I've took some pictures, but it's yeah, it's the same. And we are getting by the end of the trip here, where I'm just gonna show you a bit of the clips back, going back in the airplane. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my video about Greenland and the hikes. And I know the quality wasn't as good as some others can do, but I didn't have a lot of choice and my budget was limited, and I had to keep it to 720p for myself because I didn't have any more space otherwise. Should have really put it at 1080p to be honest, at least, but it's life. And yeah, bye bye.
And there's nothing else.